Hello everybody. So I just finished building the Monogram P39 and it turned out pretty nice, and I did a lot of extra detail with it and all those things. But the moldings themselves were good and there was lots of cool detail in there. Just some, if you carefully paint it, you get something that really looks good. And there was a whole range of those 48 scale Monogram kits like that. The P47 was like that. The bombers like the B-24, 17, the B-29, the B-25, the B-26, the Marauder, the Black Widow was in that group. Even the Devastator, which I have, is in that group. In other words, less toy-like and lots of actual molded in detail that looks sweet if you're careful. And you can always gussy them up a little bit if you wish. But there's another batch of Monogram 48 scale models that are focusing more on operating features, less detail, less molded in stuff, but still look good. I mean, the outsides to me look like they're supposed to. They look like, you know, whatever they are. And that includes, like, there was a Zero I built 7,000 times, a 109, a Spitfire Hurricane. There's the Avenger, the Dauntless, the Wildcat. They had folding wings, all these various things, and retractable landing gear, all that kind of stuff. And when you're 6, 7 years old, 8 years old, that stuff's amazing. I mean, you can build it one night and play with it and shoot things down and hang it from your ceiling and shoot it with rubber bands and work with the landing gear. I was great fun with it. So one of my favorites from that era was the Douglas Dauntless. The Douglas Dauntless. My dad, I had just watched Midway, great movie, if you haven't seen it, and I was just enamored with all that stuff. And my dad, we lived in Washington, D.C. at the time, and went to the barber shop. I was getting my hair cut. My dad slipped out, and he went to a hobby store we used to go to called Coors, and it was like an old-fashioned hobby store. It was amazing at the time. And that was when you could leave your child in the barber, have them watch you, and then you go off and do something, come back and he pick you up, which is what he did. He'd have been in jail currently. Anyway, fantastic. He comes back. I'm in the barber chair. I've got a lollipop. Everything's great. And he brings me this box with this Douglas Dauntless in it. And it does everything. It's got flaps that move. It's got a tail hook that moves. It's got land gear that goes up and down. And of course, the piece de resistance is that there's a trigger that releases its dive bomb, its actual bomb. And I must have sunk more tonnage of ships, probably Coral Sea Midway combined, maybe Lady Golf. I shot so many things down. I strafed so many pillboxes with that model. It was so much fun. So what I wanted to do was build that Dauntless from this kit. I got it on eBay for really cheap, and build it as is. Don't do anything different, but make it nice in terms of paint it up nice. But make all the stuff work just like when you're little. Don't work on the interior. Don't do anything crazy. The only thing I'm going to do is the dive flaps on this are perforated, but they don't have holes in them. So I am in the process right now of drilling holes into these, which is the only thing I'm going to do to bring it up to sort of to make it a real model. The rest of it, I'm going to mill it just as is and just try to paint it nice. So what I've done so far, because you have to start doing things quickly here with this model, I put some of the interior parts together and painted them. I got the pilots painted. I got the basic interior started. There is nothing in here. There's a pilot, and he sticks on a peg in his back. There's side consoles, but there's nothing here. But I just did that, painted the interiors a little bit so that we can just start putting this together as is. And what we're going to do is just put this thing together, see how far we can get in a half hour or so, and just enjoy ourselves building a model back in the old days. And then we'll take our time and paint it nice and try to make it look really beautiful and make people say, hey, wait, what is that? And then realize, oh, it's the Monogram model. Because they'll know, because I'll pick it up and bomb something when it happens. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build this thing and see how much fun we can have. Alrighty, so we will start. Initially you're supposed to put all this stuff together, which we already did, which is just great. And the first thing you do is you take the little antenna here and you stick it in the side of the fuselage up front. There's a great big attachment point for it. You can't miss it. Very easy. Anyone can do it. You know, and the beauty of these models is that, I mean, number one, when you're ancient, they're fun because they remind you of the good old days. But, you know, they are a lot of fun to make anyway, even if they are not proper models. So this one fits on this peg right here. So I'm going to kind of get rid of some of the primer and stuff. The interior and stuff I painted, by the way, I didn't show you because we're going to do a lot of painting on the rest of it, so that'll be good. But it was very simple, and all I did was, oops, wrong way, you doorknob. All I did was, there's a little hole here, and that fits over that peg. So you slide this up through here like so, put it down on the peg like that, and you've got an antenna that will never come off. But everything I did was sort of stuff I've done before that we've seen. Very simple. It didn't work too hard on it because, again, this is just supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be taking you back to when you were 8 or maybe 6. In my case, I was probably 6 or 7 when I built this. Those truly were the good old days. I just remember I had a friend, his name was Chris Kaiser. And Chris and I watched Midway and just loved it. This is back when little boys could watch war movies and enjoy them unapologetically. And we just had a great time with it. And we went out in his backyard and played so many fun things. It was fantastic. Really good times. Okay, so the next part that's important is we're going to start putting in, this is the trigger for the all-important bomb. And this is very simple. It just works on the principle of bending plastic. And so what you do is you take your fuselage side here and you take this thing, there's a hole right there, and you're going to stick it right on there like that. That peg actually moves. See that moving? There's just enough bend in that peg to move. And so this part comes under the fuselage here. And so you grab that, and that's what you actually move forward like this, and that will release your bomb. Okay? So you put a little bit of glue on the end of that, and then you go with it. Now, one thing I am noticing is using modern adhesives on this thing is going to be a challenge, meaning adhesives where you are actually sort of where you've got liquid, because that liquid means, let's just stick this piece on the other side just to make sure we got it lined up, because there's a slot right here. Just make sure it fits. And it does. Good. Let that dry. The problem being that it moves around so much, so you're gonna have a hard time putting some of these things together, I fear. We'll see. And like, especially the flaps. When you put the flaps on, I don't want to have it run and keep the flaps from moving. I think it's going to be kind of a tall order, actually. So we got that pin in there, so that's good. And now we put this guy in. And so this fits really easily right into these pieces. It just drops in place like that. Looks good. So we are going to, I guess, just pop it in like that and make sure that it's going into the right places, which it is. And then we're just going to add a little bit of glue to those sides. And as I said, this is, has to be just, it has to work just so. And it'll be fine. But you do have to sort of, it's deceptively simple. And again, especially with modern glues, it could be a little dicey at times to get it to all stick together, to get it to do just what you want it to do. So, it's not, I wouldn't say it's exactly trivial. I'll put it that way. Now, we got to put in the, well, they say put the thing together, but when do we put on our tail hook? Our tail hook must slide in there too, because our tail hook needs to go in, because it has to slide in there. Maybe it just goes in at the last second or something. But we got to get this thing here, which is going to be for our bomb, ultimately. But yeah, putting these together is a ball, and especially if you have a younger child, a young child, or a old granddaughter, grandson, and you want to get them into doing something like this for fun, get them off of their stupid screens. This is a really wonderful thing to do, and you're going to be doing them a service whether they know it or not. And so I think it's a great idea. Very, very good idea. So you're going to put this in place ultimately, and as I said, it's not trivial how it all fits together. In this case, this thing is not fitting like it's supposed to, but we'll get it. Oh, I see. Here's the problem. There she is, just like that. That will fit perfectly when it's time. Okay. Now, what I'm checking is to see if I do that, can I put this in later? Can I sort of just spread it apart gently and put that in? I think I can, because I don't want to put that in right now. This I can still move nicely. That's in, it's straight. Okay. And then back here is where the tail hook goes. I gotta get that ready too. So let's do that. Let's get that ready. This is ready. Let's get the tail hook ready, because the tail hook has to slide in there too. And the tail hook is nice and delicate. We'll paint it black and white striped. It'll look cool when it's done. Very cool. But yeah, these models are fun to make. They're not hard, but they, again, are not trivial. You can't just slap them together that easily. You do have to think about it, especially if you want to make all the stuff work on it, which again, as a child, that's what you want to do. Of course, my wife says I not ever got past about 7, which I take that as a compliment myself. I think more people should be 7 in this world. Very much so. So you make sure this is facing the right direction. You want your tail hook to go, the hook part going down like that. So that'll work. This is for the rear gunner. That fits into a spot in the back, but that will fit just fine. I'm not worried about that. That can go later along with the gunner. So let's go ahead and attempt to glue this thing in. And let's hope that things go really well. Okay, so we are going to put these things together, get there we go, get that piece in there, the interior, and see with the interior painted up like that, you can't see much anyway. It doesn't look half bad. I mean, if I'm not being honest, no, it is not an incredible scale model, and no, you're not going to win a contest with it, and all this nonsense. But man, for just having fun, this is really hard to beat. So what we're going to do is slowly squeeze this thing together, ever so slowly. This is where the new cement is really nice, because it can help you with that. Make sure that is in there, which it is. It's a little crooked, but we can fix that. But again, I got to make sure I don't cement it in place. In fact, what I'll do is probably not glue the bottom of the fuselage together quite yet. Probably leave it out, leave it undone. Maybe slide that in there, but leave it alone. This has got to be really careful because I do not want to have that go haywire either. So just touch it with a little bit of glue and trust that it will just find its way where it's supposed to, and trust that it does not go into the place you don't want it. Now, what we're going to do here is make an attempt to put this guy in, trusting that it's not going to be a problem. So we're going to just slide in like that. It moves, has to move really loosely like that. You know, it's got to be just right. And so we are going to leave that alone. I wonder if that's made to do that. Bend over like that so it doesn't hang down funny when you're playing with it. And then when you want to make it like it's actually going to come down, then it'll drop. Huh, maybe. Or there's something broken on this kit. Who knows? Anyway, got to make sure that moves. It does. Life's good. Okay, that's moving. Things are coming together. Things are gluing and drying. My interior is in. You know what? There's enough room in there if you really felt sick about not making it absolutely God's gift to cockpit interiors. You could get in there and put a lot of cool stuff in there. Even now, it would not be impossible at all. Not bad at all. Okay, that's drying. What we're going to do is let it dry for a little bit rather than worrying about if it's actually really dry and actually together. I just want to make it so that it's going to be, I don't want to mess up all those movable parts. I guess that's my issue. Gotta make sure this works. It has to work. That is the most important part of the whole model, right there. Nothing else matters. Okay. Our gunner, or our gun, goes in here, but I have to add the gun to it first. Our gunner fits in, I believe, kind of like that. And he'll be shoved in there when it's time. He'll be okay. I'll get him in there. Because it says you can put him in after you put the fuselage together, which kind of blows my mind. But hey, we're going to follow the directions and see what happens. Now, one of the things about this model and these models of this era are the things like making things move and swivel and all the rest. So this is my little ring that fits my rear 30 caliber machine gun on. I got to find my 30 caliber machine gun. There it is. And I got to cut it out. And I'm going to try to carefully get rid of any flash that there is. The barrel is very small, rather delicate, maybe out of scale. Seems pretty skinny to me, but hey, whatever. And again, even this, it's a little plastic thing, but look, it's got a handle, a nice handle. You can't argue with that. It's got a sink mark here, but it's got a nice handle. It's got detail on it. It's got little rivets and stuff. Look at that side. That side looks pretty good. With some painting and dry brushing and, you know, a dark wash or something, that's going to look more than passable. That's going to look great. Okay, so put that. Now, what you got to do with this, the instructions tell you to put this in here, like so. Gonna have to Gonna have to drill that out a little bit. Put that in there, and then you're gonna take a flame and heat the other end, like heat up a blade and heat this end so it mushrooms and holds it in place. At least that's the theory, which should work. I'm not worried. It'll be fine. I just got to open this up a little bit because I'm having a little problem with my piece being too tight in there. I think it's probably because there's paint in there. Very well could be. So I'm just kind of trying to open up a little bit, make it so that it's, I need probably a bigger drill bit, but I'm just going to try and see what I can do with this. Just want to get this in there. I can also shave this off a little bit. It's almost there. In fact, it kind of is there. Let me take a little bit more off of this. Just a smidgen off this. Just kind of go around like this and go. That should help us a little bit. Just enough to make it so that it moves a little more freely. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Pop it in again. See if it fits better. It does. Look at that. It swivels nicely. And now we're going to melt the end. You can see it protrudes a little bit. You see it past my finger, my finger there. We're going to take an X-Acto blade. We're going to heat it up. And we're going to see what happens. We're going to melt that end. And that's how I think the wheels are attached on this model, the landing gear, all kinds of things. Ooh, my wife's not here. We're going to use one of her candles. Don't tell her, though. Shh. So you grab your part as best you can, and you heat up an X-Acto blade. You probably shouldn't use an X-Acto blade. Use something that you're not gonna, that you don't care about so much, because all it does is blacken it. And then heat it up real nice, and then you just take this and go. That's it. That's all there is to it. Okay. We can put that back there. Wife will never know. And now it won't fall out. It's in there and it swivels. So all I can do is paint that up nice and dry brush it. It'll be awesome. So this fits in here. You don't want to, and you can kind of squeeze it in place, but you don't want to move it or change it or do something silly with it because you want it to be, it fits just fine. But now look at that. Our gun goes up and down. And swivels to get all those zeros that are going to jump us. Oh man, this is going to be so awesome. I'm loving this so far. Now, the most dicey part so far, do we still have trigger? Yep. And we still have this. Good. This is together, or it's going to be together. That's good. So the next dicey thing in here is going to be adding this dude. So the model says cement gunner into long tabs. We did that. Whoop, geez, sorry, gunner. Long tabs, and it says place him so much over the full size photo and shift it around. I did that. Now it says apply cement the two edges of the rear gunner compartment and place the frame with the gunner attached into the ledges. Okay, so I'm assuming that these are the ledges, and I'm assuming he should go back behind the back seat of the pilot. So what we're going to do is try to stick him in here as best we can. He should go down. Let's see what my problem is. As it is, well, as it is, how bad is it? Is it okay? Yeah, he looks funny. I gotta see why he looks crooked. I think he's supposed to be down a little bit. And that should fit below the knees. And as long as it's straight. It's not though. I wonder what I'm doing wrong. Maybe he needs to be bent up and his little feet are keeping him from coming down. There we go. Just a little force did it. Okay. So I just made sure that this is well there. All right. So what we're going to do is just put a little bit of glue here and a little bit of glue down there. I'm going to move him in place until he's about neutralis, which he is. I guess that's okay. Let him dry. So there is the rear gunner's in place. Got my awesome gun. I like this gun. We're going to paint that later. Like I said, I'll put this actually in the stowed position. Oh, it won't actually go in the stowed position. Darn it. It should. But anyway, we're going to worry about painting stuff later. That's got to be above. It's going to be like that, doesn't it? It just seems kind of Mickey Mouse. What sort of Mickey Mouse mumbo jumbo's going on here? Let me make sure it's level. I guess that's good enough. We'll let her. That piece is level, which is nice. And we're going to leave that. So anyway, there's that. Most of those main fuselage parts are done. The biggest thing so far, or the most difficult thing to worry about so far, is all those pieces that still move, and they do. So I think we're okay. I think we're just fine. We're gonna move on. Let that dry. And I'm amazed how nice that actually looks. I mean, it does not look terrible in there. There's going to be a canopy over it. So everything's going to disappear. It's not a contest model, as I said, but you could even at this point add little bits and pieces in there. Now, one thing I'm going to do is, they say the next step is to put the instrument panel in here. The instrument panel is a decal. And what I'm going to do, there it is. I'm going to carefully cut it out and just basically glue it as is. I'm not going to take it off of the carrier film. I'm just going to glue it like a piece of card stock, because I have a feeling that it's probably a little on the the decals themselves probably are not usable. And that's okay, because again, as we showed you last time, we can make our own decals if we really want to. So that does not impinge our enjoyment of this little model. And here's where paper modeling comes in handy, because if you're good at cutting stuff out, which, of course I am, this is nice, because you can just cut this out, and I can see it's got cracks in it, but that's okay. I'm just going to glue it in as is. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to take this thing, I'm going to glue it in. I think I can fit it in there. Let's see. Maybe it'll be a mess. Can I get it in there? Well, slide it right over the top of the airplane. That doesn't help anyone. And again, you're not going to see this anyway. It's going to be hidden, but it'll fit right in there. So I'm going to take some of my Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm going to put some of it on this in front of my pilot. Fair amount so that I know it'll stick. And again, with the canopy, or with the canopy on here and all the rest, it's not like you're going to be in there reading the dials. They'll be hinted at, and you'll go, oh, look, there's actual stuff in there. But you're not going to be too worried about how that's going to go. Now I only wish I had painted the background, because it looks like it's not going to cover the whole thing, which I thought it would. Anyway, that's all right. Again, not going to take this to a model show. This is going to be used to bomb the cat and, you know, stuff, important things like that. So, cockpit is done. Gunner's happy. I can paint the machine gun later when we start painting everything. That'll just be a detailed paint job. Looks good. Looks fantastic. And again, what's fun about these is you can build the things. It's kind of fun. We rotate. We move up and down. Our tail hook works, which is extremely important for our... I wonder if it is like that on purpose. Cool. And then, of course, our gun, our little... Our bomb release mechanism is working. So, you know, with the canopy on there, that's going to look better than, you know, a piece of junk. It'll absolutely look good. All right, now what's next? Now, now it says, do I believe it? Do I dare believe it? Yes, I do. They say you take the bottom wing now and you stick it to the fuselage. So, these models, I don't know how old of a mold this one is, actually. I mean, I know the original is pretty old. I'd have to look at scale mates or something and see how old it really is. It might even be the 1950s, late 50s. Certainly it's in the 60s when this was first produced. Certainly. So I'm just kind of making sure all these, there's little places here that I don't want to have flash on. That'll be difficult to fix once it's together. But again, look at the fine detail on there. I guess you can't see because it's blue. But man, the rivets on here are delicate. This is supposed to be open completely. It's a slat to help airflow when you're slowing down, give you a better, make things work better for you. But I mean, look at that. There's a lot of actual. Those rivets are scale. They're very small and they're very delicate, and yet they're there. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. It's going to have retractable landing gear, of course, soon. But this says, if I'm reading this right, can't believe it, but I'm looking right at it. It says once we've done that, then it says press the decal down with tweezers. Well, we did. We cheated, and it looks fine. We are going to fit the bottom wing into place. Without cement, it says. Notice that only a portion of the wing leading and trailing edges touch the fuselage. Remove, apply glue, then press into place. Okay. We're going to... 7-year-old me never read the directions anyway, but almost 60-year-old me does. So let's see. This fits, of course, over there. Goodness gracious. Now there's a hole here that this has to go into like that. That fits in there. Oh my gosh, it's like snap fit. You know, does life get any better than that? I don't think so. That's phenomenal. That is really cool. How well that works. That's really something else. I'm mightily impressed how that fits so well after 6 million years. So it seems to me, you put that in like that, whoops. You put that in, slide this over, and it just pops right in like that. And you got glue there, and you got glue up here. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put glue in those places. Maybe what we'll do, just to be careful, we'll put some glue here on this, and along here, then we will slide that in place. And then we will just do this. Boom. 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 I hope that didn't get glued. Capillary action didn't go up there. All right. I think probably letting things dry is in order. A wee bit. So I'll put a little bit more glue there and a little bit more glue there. Making sure this moves. Okay. Life is good. I should check it off camera, make sure it's straight this way. I'm just looking at it head on, making sure it looks good. Oh, it looks lovely. Fits like a charm. Hardly any seam issues. Really, really nice. Really nice. Okay, so we're going to let that kind of hang. And we're going to let that sit there. So it looks like another thing we're going to have to do is put the propeller together and the engine. Now this engine is, I don't know how accurate it is. You could put a wiring harness on it, stuff like that, if you wished. But boy, sprayed a nice kind of silvery color and then put in a dark wash and then dry brushed, picking out some of the details. This will look absolutely fantastic in there. There's going to be nothing wrong with this engine, especially for someone who's 6. This is absolutely fantastic. Take a couple of places here. Look, there might be some flash that's kind of stuck on the inside of the cowl ring here. No, it's not hollow. You can see, into things, but they were double banks of cylinders, so, who cares? I mean, yes, you should care, I suppose, but me, for this model, for what I'm trying to do, I don't care. I think this is going to be great. And look at this. That's actually molded on to tail. I don't want to get rid of that. I almost took off a bunch of stuff I thought was flash, and it wasn't. Got to clean up tips. Now I'm trying to think, can I airbrush paint this after? Can I put the propeller on and then deal with the and then be able to paint it still? I don't know. I wish I could, because it would just be fun to stick this together and say, there you go. Now that has a little piece that is the component that makes it spin, which is right here. And I dropped it. These things are black and blue, and when they come together, you can't tell what's going on. This, of course, fits in here and has to spin freely. Oh, it's kind of tight. So we're going to do a little work on that, just like we did on the gunner's seat, or the gunner's ring. Just gonna, you could sand this too. I'm just doing this because I'm lazy, and this takes off a little more. It's a little more aggressive. And that's me. I'm super aggressive with everything. Okay, let's put that in, see if that's any better. Much better. My dad would always take my models and he would blow on the propeller. That was, if you did it right, the propeller spun. The first thing he would do.